Alright, next are gonna be the new items, which are gonna be these items that have been changed in set 5. So the first item that has been changed is Archangel Staffs. So you need a tier and a rod. Each time the wearer casts their spell, they gain ability power equal to 30% of their maximum mana. So that's new. Next is the Bloodthirster. So the first time the wearer would fall below 40% health, they gain a shield equal to 40% max health for 5 seconds. Next is Frozen Heart, which has been changed to reduce the attack speed of enemies within 2 hexes by 25%. Each Frozen Heart a champion carries beyond this first effect increases the radius of this effect. So you need to have, so you want to have like 2 Frozen Hearts or 3 Frozen Hearts to have like the entire or like 80% of the field with a reduced attack speed. Next is Hand of Justice. At the beginning of each planning phase, the wearer gains one of the following traits: 40% plus 40 attack damage and ability power, or basic attack and spell heal for 40% damage dealt. So it has been changed, obviously. Next is the Rapid Fire Cannon. So RFC no longer gives you infinite range. Now the holder gains +1 hex attack range, and their basic attacks can't miss. So this has been nerfed a lot. So 1 hex is not too much. I don't think it is worth it. It's worth like building this item anymore. Next is Redemption. The wearer radiates an aura, so it is no longer a like a heal item. It's now an aura item. To allies within 1 hex, healing them for 30% of their missing health every 5 seconds. Allies affected by the aura take 40% reduced damage from area of effect attacks. Next is Titan's Resolve. When the wearer takes damage or afflicts a critical hit, they gain 2% stacked attack damage, and ability power stacks up to 25 times, at which point the wearer gains 25 magic resist and increases in size. So I'm pretty sure this is the same, but I guess they changed the stats a little bit. Next is Zephyr. So a huge change about Zephyr. Now it is totally worth building Zephyr into your comp because it ignores CC now. As you can see, unique. When combat begins, the wearer summons a whirlwind on the opposite side of the arena that removes the closest enemy from combat for 5 seconds and ignores CC immunity. So yeah, now you can build your Zephyr and you don't have to worry about any QSS. Next are the shadow items, not show items. So shadow items are the new items made specifically for Forgotten comps. So as you guys know, Forgotten comps benefit from shadow items. Let me show you real quick. So let's go back to Forgotten, and there it is. Forgotten champions have bonus attack damage and ability power. Each shadow item held by a Forgotten champion increases these bonuses by 10% on all Forgotten champions, stacking up to 4 times. So if you have 4 Forgotten items on your 9 units or are Forgotten, you will get basically 40% increased stats from everything over here. So that's insane. And for why they are called shadow items, it's because they are a double-edged sword. So shadow items deal like they give you a benefit, but they come with a cost. So basically, we'll go through them one by one. So we have the Archdemon's Staff. Each time the holder casts their spell, they gain maximum health equal to 250% of their maximum mana. The holder then heals for the maximum health that was gained from that spell cast. Next is the Chalice of Malice. When combat begins, all allies within 1 hex in the same row gain 50% power for the rest of combat. The wearer loses 20 spell power. So there's the cost right there. Next is the Cursed Deathblade. Contributing to a kill grants plus 15 attack damage for the remainder of combat. This effect can stack any number of times starting at 3 stacks. The wearer receives a penalty of minus 25% max health, so that's the cost. Next is the Cursed Hextech Gunblade. The holder spells heal the nearest ally with missing health for 50% of the damage dealt. This heal cannot affect the holder, so that's the cost right there. So the holder heals other people but cannot be healed himself. Next is the Cursed Infinity Edge. Grants 75% critical strike chance, including components. Each point of critical strike chance above 100% becomes +1 critical strike damage. So basically you gain a bunch of crits. Each time they wear crits, they deal 5% of their maximum HP to themselves as true damage. So unique, only 1 per champion. So the guy will do a bunch of crit, but he will crit himself as well and that's pretty bad. Next are the Cursed Spear of Chosen. The holder basic attacks restores an additional plus 14 mana on hit. The holder deals 25% less damage. Next is the Cursed Thieves Gloves. At the beginning of each planning phase, the wearer equips 2 temporary items. These items are always full shadow items. Consumes 3 item slots, so this takes 3 item slots. Next is the Dark Dragon's Claw. The wearer cannot take more than 100% damage from a single instant of magic damage. Next is the Dark Shroud of Stillness. When combat begins, shoots a beam straight ahead and behind them that decays after enemies and allies' first spell cast, increasing their maximum mana to 50%, unique, only one per champion. Next is the Evil Gargoyle Stoneplate. Every 2 seconds, the wearer heals themselves for 70 for each unit targeting them. Evil Giant Slayer. The holder instantly executes enemies they damage who are below 10% in health. Okay, that's new and that's OP. If the target has more than 1,750 maximum health, the execute threshold is increased to 20.5% health. Evil Quicksilver. The wearer is immune to crowd control but has 25% less max health. Evil Static Shift. Every other basic attack from the wearer unleashes a chain of lightning, dealing 65 magic damage to 4 enemies. The lightning can critically strike, dealing bonus damage and reducing the target's magic resist by 60% for 6 seconds. The wearer receives a penalty of 50% attack damage. Next is the Explosive Trap Claw. Blocks the enemy first spell that hits the wearer, so that's pretty basic. Then teleports them to the spell's caster and causes both units to start targeting each other. They deal 20% increased damage to each other. Alright, this is a very nice mechanic. Explosive Zephyr. When combat begins, the wearer summons a whirlwind that are opposite side, removes the closest enemy from combat, and the wearer also banishes themselves for 3 seconds. So you can Zephyr an opponent unit, a very strong unit. So you should put this Zephyr, the Evil Zephyr, the Explosive Zephyr, on one of the units that you're not like using too much, and that unit will be Zephyred as well for 3 seconds. Next is the Final Whisper. So it was Last Whisper and now Final Whisper. When the wearer inflicts a critical hit to target's armor, magic resist is reduced by 70% for 2 seconds. The wearer's armor and magic resist are also permanently reduced by 70%. That's pretty stupid. Force of Darkness. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to tell you about this, guys. There is now a new Force of Nature. So we have the standard Force of Nature and we have the Force of Darkness, which can be made with 2 types of spatulas, the normal spatula and the evil spatula. And this Force of Darkness will give you 2 maximum team sizes, but the player's little legend takes 100% extra damage. So you have double the damage. You take double the damage if you have this Force of Nature, but you will gain 2 extra spots. So you will not lose, this will be super advantageous if you never lose a fight, but if you lose at least 1 or 2 fights, you will start feeling the pain and you will start losing a bunch of HP. So you need to be already strong and already have a stable comp, and you add to that comp 2 maximum units, and make sure those units really strengthen your comp, and make sure you don't lose again. So you can take full advantage of the Force of Darkness. Next is the Frozen Dark Heart. So all enemies with 2 hexes have their attack speed reduced by 50%. Allies within 1 hex have their attack speed reduced by 50%. So this affects everyone. This does not affect the wearer. Each Frozen Heart increases the radius. Alright. Guardian Fallen Angel prevents the wearer's first death, placing them in status instead, or status. After 2 seconds, they return with 100% health and shed all negative effects. After this effect trigger, the wearer attack speed is reduced by 50%. Okay, next is Gwinsu's Evil Bracelet. Basic attacks grant 8% bonus attack speed for the rest of combat, but the wearer is dealt 2% of their maximum health each attack. The bonus attack speed can stack any number of times. So basically you are losing a 2% HP per attack, but you are gaining 8% attack speed per attack, which is insane, and this stacks a lot, but you will be losing a lot of HP. So you need an item that makes sure that you always regain HP to stay alive. Next is the Hand of Vengeance instead of Justice. The holder begins combat with 2 buffs, plus 40 attack damage and plus 40 ability power and spell bam. for them each takedown. If the holder has these buffs, they lose them. If they do not, they get both buffs again. Okay? Next is the Ionic Dark Spark. Enemies and allies within 2 hexes are zapped when they cast an ability, taking magic damage scaling with their max mana. Enemies take 200% of their max mana, and allies take 100% of their max mana. Whenever an ally or enemy is zapped, the wearer gains 5 ability power for the rest of combat. Alright, pretty nifty. Next is Lack of Redemption. The wearer radiates an aura to all allies on the board and heals them for 15% of their missing health every 5 seconds. Each time this happens, the wearer damages themselves for 10% of their current extra damage. Alright, so this is the cost benefit for this item. Locket of the Dark Solari. The wearer and all allies within 2 hexes take 20% reduced damage but gain 5 less mana per attack. I don't think people are gonna build this. More evil Lanomicon. When the holder deals magic damage with their spell, the spell deals 50% less damage, but they burn the target, dealing 100% of the target's maximum health as true damage over 25 seconds and reducing healing by 50% for the duration of the burn. Next is Poisoned Gauntlet. The holder spell can inflict critical hit, gain 40% critical hit and critical chance, but when the wearer casts, they lose 20% of their maximum health. Rabadon's Cursed Death Cap. The holder gains 125 additional spell power. The holder receives a penalty of minus 25 max health. So that's insane. The Rapid Death Cannon. Okay. The holder gains +3 hex attack range for 2 attacks. Takedowns refresh this bonus. The holder's basic attack no longer miss. Alright, very dope. The Rick Thirster. Basic attack heals the holder for 40% of the damage dealt. The holder takes 25% of their maximum health and true damage at the beginning of combat. Excuse me. Each time the holder heals for 90% health, they gain 40% attack damage, attack speed for 3 seconds. This does not stack. Next is Runan Evil's Hurricane. Basic attack fire bolts at 2 nearby enemies, dealing 60% of the wearer's attack damage. These bolts can critically strike but do not apply on hit effect. Okay, for the last 6 items, it's gonna be Titan's Explosive Resolve. Whenever the wearer takes damage, they gain a stack of explosive power for each point of pre-mitigated damage taken. This effect can stack any number of times. When the wearer dies, they explode, dealing true damage equal to 20% of their explosive power to all enemies with 1 hex. Okay. The next one is the Very Dark Blue buff. After casting their spell, the wearer mana is set to 10. If the wearer has less than 50% health, this is increased to 40. Okay. Next is the Villain's Bramble Vest or Bramble Vest. Negates bonus damage from incoming critical hits and reduces the base damage of those attacks by 30%. On being hit by a basic attack, deal 80, 100, 150 magic damage to all nearby enemies once every 2.5 seconds. The wearer also deals this magic damage to themselves. So you better put some magic resist on you or have some magic resist traits. Next is the Warmog's Poison Armor. Grants 1500 bonus health including components, but the wearer loses 100 health each second. So that's 15 seconds of extra 15% bonus health. Alright, very cool. The next one is Zeke's Evil Herald. When combat starts, the wearer and all allies within 1 hex in the same row gain plus 30% attack speed for the rest of combat. Cursed mod, instead steal up to 40% attack speed from nearby allies and give it to the wearer. Alright. The last new item, the shadow item, is gonna be Zero Dark Portal. When the wearer dies, a construct with 500 health arises to continue the fight. When it dies, it deals 777 true damage to enemies within 1 hex. Pretty cool.